Adventure on Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Fire wind is blowing, shining stars are falling. We are moving faster, but where are we going? Wounded hearts are calling, we're losing direction. What the hell?
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm very excited about our next return guest because we're going to talk about some music, we're going to talk about some history, but I'm really excited about talking about analog music opposed to digital. And so let's welcome to the show Leslie from Mandoki Soulmates. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me again, and I really remember how authentic it was as I spoke to you last time as we were in New York City and played the Beacon Theater where Scorsese made the Shine a Light with the Rolling Stones. So it was a wonderful day, and thank you for supporting that big concert of us in New York City, and thank you for having us now with a new album, A Memory of Our Future.
Yes, and man, you guys, just one thing I have to say, just true musicianship, no matter what, all the music you put out. And this, what I was talking about before, only shows the true musicianship, because this album was done, mastered, produced, recorded, all entirely analog. And see, you know why I think that's true musicianship? Because most people don't realize that there's parts missing in music in digital from that are in analog that you can't have. You like digital is this choppiness that cuts out kind of the middle, and analog has a very different sound because it's that wavy, smooth sound opposed to the choppiness.
Thank you for the description, because I go 100% along with it. You know, it came like this. You know, we were out on the road, and at the end of the show, we sung the Torch. This is the song from Utopia for Real. It's our last album, and it's about the old rebels and the young rebels. And we said, okay, we pass on the torch. And I started to say, no, we're not going to pass on the torch, because the world turned to be a labyrinth of crisis, and the compass is lost. And then so we just spoke, and Tony Carey said, Leslie, I hate you. I really desperately hate you. You write with such a young, powerful songs right now. I was 22 as I wrote that way. And also Ian Anderson, and we all aging differently. And so finally, so we had this old songs, which is supposed to be Woodstock 4.0, you know, so kind of fresh, you say. And someone, I don't know, it could have been DiMeola, so said, hey, do you have still the old 2-inch machine in your basement in the cellar of your studio? You never sell anything, so you probably have it. But what about, you know, making an analog album? So, and for all our listeners, so let's talk about to the ladies now, only for the ladies. Hey, ladies out there listening now, how would you like to have your love letter by two of us? Would you like to have it as a text message, an email, or would you like to have a handwritten with pen, handwritten love letter? And guess what? Probably every and each feminine listeners would say, oh, of course, it would be very nice to have a handwritten love letter. You know, take it in. So and the analog recording has three different aspects. The one you were describing, second to none. So the description is great. Another aspect is this is the sound aesthetic. You know, our ears are analog, so this is, you hear it even in a you know, smartphone, small lousy speaker, and you still hear the analog warmth, because the mids are natural, the highs are natural, and the bass is not booming, is natural. So everything is, because of the tape compression, is the only really great compression in life. So audio wise. But the other aspect, let me explain it to you, that what is equally important for me. All of a sudden, the whole focus of creativity, of creation, was taking place during the recording and not during the post-production, because you had only one track for the guitar solo. And this limitation was an incredibly creative boost, because the red light went on, it's recording, and you have only that much material you to record on. You can't, digital was, spoiling us. We can, stack it, and one more, and one more, and one more, and stack it. And then you go to the post-production, and you edit it for day and night and day and night. So at the end of the day is a handwritten love letter to our audience. And it's really went down as it you hear. And you have this incredibly fortunate honor that you have this best musician on earth you can have. Greg Lake, the late Greg Lake of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, said once in the BBC interview about Mandoki Soulmates as he was performing with us. And the BBC guy was just asking us, what about Mandoki Soulmates? You are the hero of Emerson, Lake and Palmer and King Crimson. I said, well, it's very simple. Best band of the world. And so, because you had Steve Lukather, Al DiMeola, and Mike Sir on guitar, to make a long story short, if you are so fortunate like me and honored by these legendary, iconic, great players, it was so fantastic to record them in analog, because you had this kind of sweat, the positive, pressure on you, that, the red light is on and you fire right now. So this was wonderful.
I think too, sometimes it does make it better to have that feeling of having to do it right from the beginning, opposed to, we can fix it later.
You cannot fix it later. That's wonderful.
Right.
It's like when you're getting your last period of your lifetime, you can't fix it anymore, and this is when you just push the button and you record it. It's just smack on. This is wonderful. So and we enjoyed it so much, that pressure, because I would not say that we became lazy, but we put the focus in the last period of time. Always, be programmed at the beginning. That you had a MIDI sort of structure before you replace them track by real life, and then post-production. And now all of a sudden I just wrote the music sheets, and the lyrics were just typed out, but first of all it was handwritten, and all of a sudden everything, you don't hear 8 bars trading of the soloists, of these blessing solos, but you have a mutual recording as just playing together. It's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to your example too, because man, that is spot on. Because writing a love letter. Okay, so first of all, they don't even teach kids nowadays how to write in penmanship. And if you were writing in a love letter, it would be in cursive, because then they would like it even more. Like, you put more effort into it if you did in cursive. And, just like music, there's something missing when you do an email or a text message opposed to writing it out, and it's the same. Just the perfect analogy, because the woman will get much more of an emotional connection from that handwritten note than that text message or email. And I think that's the same with music. You get much more deeper, soulful connection with the analog than you do the digital, because it does go deeper, in my opinion.
I'm with you 100 pro, and it's goes much more deeper. That's the point. This is the right expression. It touches you by heart. This is, and you know why? Because of the honesty.
Yeah.
Our whole emotional system, our human receiver, feels it, that feels it, this humanity, this touches you, and because it speaks to you a different way, and you just hear things differently, and you became all of a sudden. You feel that it's not 2.5 minutes, it's the right length of a piece of music, so this very extremely short attention span, but what came from social media and all this, and all of a sudden it's just enlarging it, so because you're enjoying it, because it doesn't really hurt you, that doesn't imply
Yeah.
you have to get switch on and watching TV and taking your smartphone, and you have your iPad on, and your so this is just all of a sudden it calls you in
Yeah.
to hey, let's take a walk on the right side, and enjoy music again, even if you listen to in your smartphone device, or just put on a headphone, but you feel the difference.
Key word is feel, because people think of music and if they don't understand, they think it's all about hearing. I think the most important part of music is the feeling you get from it, and the feeling that even a musician gives from it. There's something to it. I remember when I was taking in college a music appreciation class, and they were teaching how to write a like long lasting hit song. And basically, what they says, there's three types of people, which we know. There's visual, there's auditory, there's kinesthetic. And in order to write a hit song, you have to have all three components. Well, the kinesthetic is the feeling type of person. The auditory is the listening type of person. The visual is the seeing type of person. So if the sound of the music was the only component, then it wouldn't be as full, and it wouldn't have such mass appeal and be as great a music. You have to have all three components.
Absolutely. What a wonderful conversation, because you know what, I'm enjoying it so much to talk to you, because normally it's a Q&A on radios, and this is not, because we just talk like buddies, like we would
Exactly.
have a beer or a coffee, and reflecting life, in the mirror of the analog music. So I mean, a mirror of reflecting, and then maybe if I may add one more aspect to it.
Yeah, definitely.
We are living in trying years. This is just a kind of emotionally difficult, challenging times what we are going through.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're a father, you even a grandfather in your young years, and we have a huge responsibility for our kids, especially grandkids. Because one day, whenever, hopefully, a long time to go, but one day we are going to pass over the torch, and I would like to be someone who can tell to the kids, we will give our utmost best to pass over a better world to you, and unfortunately, I'm a guy who was there 89 as the Berlin Wall came down, and the Iron Curtain has been destroyed, and we were just about having a paradise on earth, because the Cold War was gone, and I had the feeling I have to write music about this peace and freedom, because I was growing up behind the Iron Curtain, and I was an extremely American-minded person. Where Woodstock was, like the communists were saying, I was poisoning my mind, because I was listening secretly to the Voice of America radio station, and the Russians were just disturbing that,
Yeah.
shortwave radio, and I was illegally I learned English, but which we should not, because the idea of the Russia's occupation was that from North Korea to Cuba we all speak as a second language Russian, what the Western Hemisphere English and the Eastern Hemisphere. So, and I hated it. I tell you, I hated it so much, so badly. And today we had to do this album because. And we had to call it like that, a memory of our future, because as one of the choruses, hard times create hard people creating easy times Easy times create easy people, and easy people create hard times again. That's where we are now. So we would love to give our audience, after all the music lover, this compass back, to repaint our black swan on the record to white again, to be the light at the end of the dark tunnel. So
Yes.
that let's give an answer. And one more thing, we are living in a divided world. And one of our posters when we are touring Europe is saying music is the greatest unifier. And we have to relearn, seriously relearn the fact that that if someone having a different opinion, the oppositional opinion of to yours, that's not your enemy. It's just the guy who has another opinion. And this is the message of the. If you go through the album, first song, Blood in the Water, then Enigma of Reason, The Wanderer, Big Quit, Davis Encyclopedia, this which is about the awful result of social media. This, because as you were a young kid and I was a young kid, our heroes were Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton. Not the lousy influencer who said, I can't do anything, but I'm an influencer. But we were influenced by, Jack Kerouac when it comes down to literature. So we had our heroes. They changed the world to a better place. So this album is also a lot about this. We stay loud. The old hippies are back, and we would like to take the hand of the young rebels, and as we are old rebels, and with this analog, handmade music to create something what's going to stay the test of time.
I love it. And you touch on so many points that are so important. And I think that's what's going to unify us. And you touch on a point that I talk about all the time. Music is the great unifier. It's the great therapist. And
Absolutely.
I think a big reason, it's my opinion, a big reason that people are so angry right now, so divided, so attacking, is because we went 2 years without any live music, no outlet. Music is the outlet of all of our anger, frustration, depression, and all that stuff. And we had no outlet. We had to sit by ourselves with all these things, with nothing to get it out and create the positive energy. And I think that's what created what we have too. And if we want a solution to all these problems in the world, I think we just need to have one big world music festival where everybody attends and we could all, stand up united together, because I don't know, all these politicians all over the world, they're pretty smart because they're using the oldest trick in the book and we're falling for it. And I say they're all on the same team and it ain't mine. My team is the rest of the world.
Thank you so much. I only can sign it. I mean, you speak my mind, actually. Thank you so much for that, because this is all about. And music could heal the world. I mean, let me share with you a little story about that.
Yes.
After that, the war, the Iron Curtain was coming down, and Europe became free. The Cold War was over. One day, Mikhail Gorbachev was calling me, the former president of the Soviet Union, who actually destroyed the communism. And he was asking me to give him music for a charity project. So actually, I invited him and his late wife in my studio, and we had a long talk. And shortly before that, Henry Kissinger was here. Who was awarded me for being an anti-communist fighter.
Nice.
And Mikhail Gorbachev explained to me that why prog rock like Jethro Tull was forbidden in the Soviet Union, because this was the music of the free mind.
Yes.
Of the free world. And then he said, as he was coming up 88 with perestroika and glasnost, so he wanted to turn to be more democratic. Then his idea was to that the Russian Communist Soviet state-owned record company is going to print 1 million copies of the Jethro Tull album of the time, Passion Play, and they, just to prove to the kind of intellectual students leadership in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Iran, that now prog rock is going to be allowed. So we are attending to get free. And then I all of a sudden understood what music means to us who were unfortunately were born and raised behind the Iron Curtain without the American individual freedom. You know that, and I'm just sharing with your listeners now, because you should be self-confident, but the American longing for freedom, how important it was for us behind the Iron Curtain, kept us alive and emotionally. That Woodstock and everything what came after that, I was a kid in kindergarten, but so it was so important, so elementary in many ways, and that I never forgot how illegal it was to in my as I was 14 years old to listen to a Jethro Tull album. I mean, if you had a seventh tape copy, a seventh generation mono tape copy, you were just a king. You could impress the girls in the school, in high school. You say, "Oh, I have a seventh generation mono," and that you put a little smile to all our listeners' face. The lousiest tape recorder was built in Prague, in Czech, and they called Tesla. Like the American cars now, because this was Czech science, and so it was printed on that lousy plastic tape machine. It was written as stereo, but had only one speaker. That was Eastern Bloc, So and the only bridge to you guys who lived in freedom was music. To learn that melodies, to learn that harmonies, to understand the lyrical context, and so music is today the greatest unifier against this awful division, but destroys everything. But back then, it was also the music was the bridge to freedom.
Well, and Berlin nowadays is a perfect example of that, because like I was there a few years ago, and I would have never imagined what you lived through while I was sitting there in Berlin, because it was so progressive there and felt so free there. And then the live music, I mean, it's just everywhere, and so it is amazing where Berlin has come nowadays from that experience that you experienced, that I think maybe they're more of the example for the world in a good way now than in a bad way that it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now it's turned to the opposite as it was. Because this decades of longing for freedom, and you got killed with the censorship, the torture, and there's you've been told, like me as a kid, you're never gonna see Los Angeles or Miami or London or New York City or Berlin, so never gonna, or West Part. So the music could transport so much of those emotions. How are you longing for freedom? And that's why we wrote those songs, and that's why we recorded, and that's why we were choosing the most honest, the most authentic way to record. That's why it's analog.
I love it. I love it. So tell everybody how they can reach out to you on socials, on the web, and get the new album, check out all the new music, and everything else you have to offer.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, you can find us everywhere, actually. If you type in your device in Mandoki Soulmates, Mandoki, and so Mandoki, Hungarians are speaking, writing that to speak phonetically. So Mandoki Soulmates, and a new album is A Memory of Our Future, and you will find it everywhere, and on all streaming services, and of course, if you really want to go crazy, then buy a vinyl, a double vinyl with a 32-page book to that, or a CD also, very nice. I mean, I've worked a lot on this, so the painting is, and it is the back cover. And you will find Ian Anderson of Chatterton, L. DiMeola, Mike Stern, Randy Bracker, Bill Evans, Phil Brunner, Tony Carey, Corey Henry, Nick Vanille, Simon Phillips, Jesse Siebenberg, John Halliwell, Supertramp, Mark Hart, Steve Bailey, Richard Boner. So and a truly super group. And we think there's we are 31 years together, this gang, but we think this is the best big great ever. It's a wonderful piece of music, and you will find us on the socials also, Mandoki Soulmates, and also, of course, our landing page. So enjoy, and if you really want to make yourself a great present or your to loved ones, then Amazon CD or a vinyl, because this is really, if you get a vinyl, a double vinyl, that you will experience a very special acoustic moment of your life, because it's really truly that's what your ears are asking for since ages.
And I definitely agree with you, because listen, a lot of the kids, they don't have the experiences we did, where you sat down, you bought an album, and it was a full sensory experience. It was looking at all the artwork, looking at the lyrics, totally immersing yourself in the album, and listening to the actual whole album and doing all the other artistic stuff at the same time. And so I'm all for it. People should definitely get the vinyl, because there's nothing better than vinyl, because of all of the creativity and art that represents. And when you're listening to music, it's like you take off into a journey, and you can forget all about your problems, the world's problems, or anything negative, and just immerse yourself in the music and feel good and have hope for the future.
Exactly. I couldn't say anywhere. Thank you so much. I mean, because that's all about. We should create with our music a better world.
Absolutely.
A better tomorrow. Our kids are deserving this.
Yes. And you're definitely doing that for us. So thank you for that. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Oh, thank you for having me again. And it was wonderful to see you again. And the next time when we just got together, then you will have again another sunglass. So just make me a little difficult.
Got to switch it up, right?
Yeah. That's why I was taking about 15 minutes to remember how was your other sunglasses. But I remember now.
I got a whole drawer full of them. At this stage in life, they're almost required,
Oh, yeah, your granddad. Fine.
That's right. Well,
thank you so much for having us, and let's rock. So here was the Mandoki Soulmates, Leslie Mandoki, with A Memory of Our Future. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.